Hey, happy Wednesday, everybody. Mark again here, Weatherman Plus. I'm going to give you the latest update on what's going on with this next storm system. Still bringing snow and storms towards the south central, but as it goes across the southeast, it's bringing more threats of winds, flooding, and maybe going up towards the northeast with some winds and flooding as well. Plus, I'm still showing that we're going into this pattern as we go into Christmas week, where it's going to be a deep trough. Going into that high ridge, it's going to be above average temperatures. I'll explain this to you, but you still have the chance for the north central and upper Midwest to maybe have some snowfall coming around the 22nd or 23rd of this month. So all them things I will go through with you in this video. Remember, timestamps are always in the description below. You've never been here before, make sure you subscribe. That way you stay ahead of the weather patterns. I like to talk about these weather patterns as they come up and let people know what the updates are. That way they can plan their day and know exactly what to expect. Thank you again for your time. Make sure to click the bell to get the updates. Now, what's very concerning is this pattern we're going in. You can see this with all of North America, that we start getting that surface low pressure build up in the Gulf of Mexico as you get in this trough from the surface low forming up in Canada. Now, this is going to pull this northern, and then high pressure is going to move out over Atlantic, kind of doing a block. Now, according to the Euro, as the high pressure comes in from the west, it squeezes up towards northeast, still a strong storm, guys, but it don't get a stall, which is what GFS has been seeing. It squeezed right through the high pressure, and it don't get stuck there. And you can see with your vorticity, so as that builds up in the south central, you're starting getting that system coming in from Canada, pulls all that from the Gulf of Mexico, pulls all that northern with that trough all the way up the coast and just goes right out into the Atlantic. And one of the concerning factors is both of the main weather models, Euro and GFS, does see a very strong system. You can see this with your potential velocity anomaly with the Euro, that you have a lot of favorable environment falling right off our east coast, and maybe another weaker system coming at the end of December. Showing with the Euro that after you get this snowstorm in the south central, it will go across Texas and the deep south with these storms as you go across this weekend, and as you go Saturday into Sunday. You see how Euro has seen that surface low built up just like GFS has been saying, but still swings it right into the southeast instead of overland, and keeps the winds going, keeps the heavy rainfall going, and keeps the storms all the way up to Monday and Tuesday out the northeast. And you notice it don't catch up with this cold air. Now look at GFS. You can see as you get that surface low pressure, it starts building up, getting even stronger, really goes in towards Florida. You get that same system in Canada. The troughing comes in, pulls it northern, high pressure goes out, but look, it gets blocked. It gets blocked by high pressure according to the GFS, and sits there and spins with the rain and the winds. And if it meets the cold temperatures, potential freezing rain or snow before that gets pushed out by the next trough. And you can see this on the latest run, the 6Z as well. So as the surface low pressure builds up in the Gulf, it gets pulled up into the north, and it gets blocked by that high pressure. Now, all this is subject to change. I just want to show you the different variables that we do have out there. And you can see the difference in the vorticity. That troughing comes in, pulls all that up to the north and east, and just sits there and spins for a while, guys, putting a lot of potential strong impacts on it before it gets pushed out by the next storm system. And you can see GFS, potential velocity anomaly, also showing a strong system right off the east coast, and the next one potentially strong as well right after Christmas. But look at the difference. GFS takes it where it pivots sooner, goes on land over Alabama, Georgia, the Carolinas. More impacts for a lot more states according to the GFS, and it just sits there and just spins with precipitation, with rain, potential snow, mixed precipitation, freezing rain, some ice, before it gets pushed out by the next storm system that can potentially come in from the 21st all the way to the Rocky Mountains, and the 22nd and 23rd for the upper Midwest, as we potentially get some snow for y'all. I don't see a lot of that sticking. It depends what time it shows up. So first, you see with HRRR, we got this first system, we got this big vorticity that's growing right here, getting that surface low, start bringing all this precipitation, pulling down the cold temperatures, getting some snowfall out of that as that pushes across the south central. And you can see with the 12Z is bringing a lot of storms, a lot of snow, But it's all going to be northern for New Mexico, some in Colorado, some for western Kansas as well, and maybe the Texas Panhandle as that comes across Thursday. And showing with National Weather Service all the way until Saturday morning, starting to bring a lot of rainfall. This is going to be the beginning of a lot of flooding, especially for Florida. So far, bringing it for eastern New Mexico, good bit of rainfall up to 2 inches, Panhandle of Texas, western Oklahoma, western Kansas, and you can see how much of that is actually expected to be snowfall. According to National Weather Service model, still showing potential a foot, but all northern for New Mexico and all southern for Colorado. Not showing much winds coming out of that, maybe getting into the 40s, maybe a little bit of the high 40s, low 50s on western Texas, but as it goes across the Gulf, across Florida and the Bahamas, starts picking up to 40 and 50 miles per hour wind gusts. You got this big high pressure just circling around like this, and that's going to be bringing winds from the east side of Florida going to the west, bring y'all some strong winds coming across. You can see this on National Weather Service model as well. That orange is when you start going into that 50 range of wind gusts. Plus, National Weather Service of New Mexico has put this out. It is not likely for a high-end snowfall, and it's not likely for a low-end. The expected snowfall amount is up to a foot, but it's not for the main cities like Albuquerque. It will be further to the north. Also for Florida, you can expect as you go from Thursday into Friday that your winds are going to start picking up 35 to 45 miles per hour wind gusts because of this high pressure circling around. And a lot of rainfall as well. You can see at Weather Prediction Center, they are pulling out for some for the next 7 days for Northern California, like GFS was seeing what you have for the South Central. And as it goes across Florida, all that red is going towards 2, 3, maybe even 4 inches. But once you go from that orange to that brown, like southern Florida, like Miami area, it goes anywhere from that 5 to 7 plus inches of rainfall coming, and across the northern Bahamas as well. This is bringing a lot of flooding. Plus along the southeast and the northeast. Look how it's bringing all that red to that pink. It's all 2 to 3 inches of rainfall coming with it. You see how it wobbles to the east? GFS saw that intercoastal flooding first. Remember, Euro took it right across Florida. So that is correct. And now it's showing that it will go offshore like GFS has been trending lately. Euro still taking it right up the coast. But you see how for the northeast, you don't have a lot of heavy rainfall. All that is pushing offshore. Now you can see the precipitation with the Euro. The Euro is showing closest to Weather Prediction Center. The rest of the models is showing more of an inland. All of them pretty much. You can see with the Euro, it shows that little wobble that GFS showed. But also for the northeast, it's bringing heaviness instead of bringing that further out like Weather Prediction Center is showing a lot of rainfall for a lot of people, especially in the southeast going over Florida. Florida is really going to get a lot, especially southern Florida, going towards the Bahamas. Now, when you look at the GFS, this is the 0Z. This is the balloon data. Look how it takes that big dip inland and brings a lot of people to that flooding region. And look at the latest update, the 6Z, the next run. Still brings it inland, but takes it further out like Weather Prediction Center is saying, but still showing a lot of heavy rainfall like the Euro, not taking it out sooner. And so far, the 12Z is just starting to load up, and GFS is still seeing that big inland coming in with all that heavy rainfall. Now watch how this grows for your flooding. So for today, you do have a chance for flash flooding. You have a marginal and a slight risk for Miami, so pay attention for that. All the way till tomorrow, this is going to grow again. As you go into Friday, it's still going to be there. Then Saturday, you got that storm system moving in. Now you're covering a lot more of the southeast and Florida with a lot of flooding. This is for Saturday. Sunday is going to be there as well and move right up the coast. And you can see for Saturday, it also affects the south. It will affect Louisiana as well as it does this transition. So just be aware this is bringing in the least a lot of flooding. Now let's go through some warnings. We do have risk for heavy precipitation, heavy rainfall from the 20th through the 26th, right past Christmas. For the whole West Coast from the 23rd through the 26th for that system that is pulling through. For the Southwest for the 20th through the 23rd. And you have it for the Gulf of Alaska from the 20th through the 24th. And you have a risk for heavy snowfall for the higher elevations of Washington, Oregon, and for California, all the way from the 23rd through the 26th, and a little bit further down California from the 21st, maybe all the way to the 26th. But from the 22nd through the 26th, that storm system coming through, from the 24th through the 26th for the northern side, for the 22nd through the 26th for the southern side for heavy snowfall. And you notice there's no more outlooks for heavy snowfall. So let's go through the snowfall real quick. You can see with the Euro, it is doing a northern push for the south central. And maybe as you go from the 21st through the 22nd, start adding up for the southern side of California, maybe some heavy snowfall. That is about it. It's only till the 22nd. This potential snow that's coming for the north central, the upper Midwest, is after 10 days, guys. Now for the same shot with GFS, next 10 days, which always changes, you can see something is coming. That's the 0Z. You can see in the 6Z, also showing that some kind of snowfall is coming to north central, the upper Midwest. And if you go further, you can see with the 0Z, shows heavy snowfall for the upper Midwest as it transitions, maybe brings a good little 1+ inches across the Ohio Valley and hitting the northeast. Now when you go by the 6Z, the latest update does a higher track, brings a little bit more snowfall, but not as widespread, and it don't bring anything to the northeast. This is all past 10 days, guys. Don't believe these things past 10 days. It always will change, but I will keep you updated. So let's take a look at the rest of our information for the next 6 and 10 days. We're going to be above average temperatures moving through as we get this high pressure. And as you go all the way to the 14 days, all the way past Christmas, past the 26th, well above average temperatures kicking in. So I know this can be confusing, but you can see this from your anomaly, how you're sitting there and all these above average temperatures are kicking in. But when you look at your temperatures, you'll see that it's actually cold temperatures coming through. Like, hey, there's 20s, there's 30s. This is very confusing. What does he mean by this is above average? So let's take it back, and you see how it's above average. You see how it's kicking in right here. Say, for an example, just pull out a little bit. You see right here for the 18th, right when you go through midnight, early in the morning, you have all these temperatures come in all the way till noontime. And you see down here on the bottom, that's anywhere from 10 to maybe 15 degrees above average, maybe even up to 20 degrees above average. So when you look at your temperatures, you can see what your temperatures are for that time, and you can see that it actually is a pretty cold anomaly. You got the high 30s to the 40s coming through. So if you're 15 to 20 degrees above average, that means normally this time of year, you have 20s to high 20s moving through instead of these high 30s to 40s, which is why you wouldn't be getting much of the snowfall, if any. And just to give you the latest update, yes, in springtime, we are still going from an El Nino to a neutral phase. Once we hit May, June, and July, and as we go into next hurricane season, still showing that we're going to be in a neutral phase for next hurricane season for June, July, and August, and as we go on beyond that. Now, neutral phase just means that it's going to be average on all of the circumstances, but at the same time, this means a more active pattern coming than what we just endured with the El Nino. Now, the latest information is that the December, January, and February 2023-2024 temperature outlook, it favors above normal temperatures for Alaska, the west coast of the contiguous United States, the lower 48, the northern plains, the Ohio and Tennessee Valley regions, and the mid-Atlantic. Above normal temperatures are more likely for western Alaska, parts of the west coast, and New England. Near normal temperatures are favored for the central and southern Rockies and parts of the central and southern plains. Now you can see right here in your Arctic oscillation, as this cool air is retracting away, we're going to the above average pattern, guys. You see we still have these cold dips that do still come in. Now this first dip, this is the one that's coming in from the storm from the southeast, going to the northeast. You can see that cold air really isn't coming in with this, guys. This is a big dip, a big trough on the west coast that's going to be bringing that storm system. At the same time, you see we got another dip coming in from the 22nd through the 23rd. And if you look at your Arctic oscillation, you can see we also have cold air coming in from the 17th all the way to the 21st and 22nd. So cold air is going to be there for the beginning of the system, not for the end of the system. But still showing that cold temperatures are going to be gradually dropping in as we go through January. And seeing that also on the weeklies, you can see that's how it stays within that range of confidence in these dark colors. Once it leaves that range of confidence, like this right here, you see how it starts dropping again and dropping again in February. This is leaving your confidence, but you can take this a little bit as a telltale, telling us that maybe we should look for maybe a dip coming at the beginning of January and the beginning of February. But still, this is not factual yet. You see how it stays within confidence. You see how much it changes from run to run, guys. So all you do is take the latest information, but once it leaves that confidence, once it leaves that dark area, you can't believe anything really past it. It will get perfected like you see this right here. Now showing that cold dip of cold air is still coming across the Rocky Mountains and the upper Midwest as we go through the 22nd, the 23rd, Christmas Eve, and Christmas, sitting there with them cold temperatures still sitting there. And that is the cold air anomaly that's coming through all the way till Christmas time. And daytime highs is going to be warm, guys. We're above average. That's what's going to mess up this potential snowstorm. Now, this is a difference. When that storm system comes in on the 23rd and the 24th for Christmas Eve, you do have the temperatures overnight, freezing temperatures. But if you look at the daytime highs, if the storm system comes during the daytime, you won't have that snow. Maybe for the Dakotas, a little bit of Minnesota, and definitely for the Rocky Mountains. But as far as the Central Plains and everyone else, if it snowed overnight, it will melt during the day. If it comes during the day, it will not be snow, except for whoever's in the blue. So try and take a look at the ensembles, and you can see on the latest run, the 6Z, looking at the control member, showing you can get 3 to 5 inches in the blue for the Central U.S. and North Central, and the upper Midwest could get 3 to 5 inches, maybe even pockets of a little bit heavier. And as it goes across the Great Lakes, Ohio Valley, east side of the U.S., control member showing you might get 1 or 2 inches in that gray. But when you look at all the weather models, you can see that all of them are not agreeing as deep as GFS saying about this cold air coming. Their green is dropping, just like I showed you, but they're all agreeing it's going to be a gradual swing. GFS takes it the coldest. And matter of fact, if you look at the balloon data, the 0Z run, that snowfall is not there. And for the Great Lakes, the 0Z run, that snowfall is not there, guys. Matter of fact, look at the new control member according to the Euro, showing you still might get an inch for the intercoastal Northeast as we get that storm system coming by this weekend and for Monday and Tuesday. And as the next system comes in, the early 20s, it is for the higher elevations of Washington, Oregon, California, some of the Rocky Mountains. And look right here, North Central and the upper Midwest getting the heaviest of the possible snowfall coming out. Now that is believable. Still showing it is going to bring those winds along the East Coast and the Southeast. Look at this. It's still bringing 50 and 60 miles per hour wind gusts. Showing a little bit further offshore, though. Y'all noticed that from yesterday? Showing a little bit further offshore. But still, you're going to have all these winds coming across Florida from the eastern side because of that high pressure. Then you got the storm system bringing the winds from the western side and the southern side. And down here for the Florida Keys, maybe getting into the 40s, maybe low 50s. Now GFS, the 0Z, the balloon data takes them 50s right on land, still right where you're getting all that heavy precipitation. Remember, it has gone further inland, still showing them high winds and right along the coast. Now the 6Z is showing that the winds are coming and right towards the northeast, still bringing the high 50s and 60s and look right along the coast. Definitely watch out for your riptides. But now we got the 12Z coming in. And look at that. It's agreeing more of an inland push. High 50s and 60s and maybe 70s for the northeast, maybe Gulf of Maine. Bring a lot of high winds. This run is just now coming in, guys. And 0Z and 12Z is the balloon data runs, the most accurate information. Also showing maybe when you go towards the 18th, 19th, and maybe into the 20th, you might have that snowstorm coming to the northeast. Still too far to take as accuracy. You know how much this changes. Keep this in your side pocket. We'll keep talking about it. And maybe hitting Wisconsin and the Dakotas with a little bit so far. This is the 12Z. This is only up to the 20th, guys. Not a lot. We got that little clipper that's coming from Canada that's going to be pulling up that system in the south, and it could drop some snow. And you can see this with GFS. The latest run of 12Z that just came in. Storm system still building up on Saturday. Still getting that vorticity going on land with all the heavy winds and the rainfall as you go through Saturday and Sunday. Going out through the northeast and mid-Atlantic on Monday. Still not meeting up with the temperatures, but maybe on Monday night into Tuesday, turning into snowfall, maybe some mix. Thank you again for your time. I hope this has helped you understand what is coming around the corner, what is so tricky about those temperatures. Even though we have cold temperatures, we're above average. Try to explain to you the best way I could. I know it could be very difficult. Thank you all for visiting me today. I hope you have a great day today. And before you go, Psalm 34, 1 through 3. I will bless the Lord at all times. His praise shall continually be in my mouth. My soul shall make her boast in the Lord. The humble shall hear thereof and be glad. O magnify the Lord with me, and let us exalt his name together. Amen. Have a great day, everybody. Remember, all glory always goes to God, our Father in heaven, Yahweh. And I hope He always keeps you safe, you and your family, every single day of your life and forever. Amen. Hallelujah. Amen.